California's housing market isn't just expensive anymore, it's becoming a financial death trap. Behind the golden beaches and Hollywood glamour, the Golden State's real estate market is collapsing in ways that will shock you. In 2025, buying a home in these 10 California cities isn't just expensive, it's financial suicide, sky-high prices, insurance chaos, crime explosions, and economic fundamentals that make zero sense. If you're thinking of buying in California this year, this video could save you from the biggest financial mistake of your life. The California dream has become the California nightmare, and most buyers have no idea what they're walking into. While real estate agents keep pushing the narrative that California real estate is a safe investment, the numbers tell a completely different story. These 10 cities represent ground zero for California's housing apocalypse, markets where buying now means catching a falling knife. Hit that subscribe button to Housing Truths USA because we're about to expose the brutal reality that the real estate industry doesn't want you to see. This isn't market analysis, this is financial survival. Number 10. Los Angeles. Los Angeles, the city of broken dreams and financial devastation disguised as glamour. In 2025, LA's housing market has become a weapon of mass financial destruction, and most buyers are walking straight into the blast zone. The median home price sits at a crushing $870,000. But here's what nobody tells you. The median household income is just $75,000. That's a 12-to-1 price-to-income ratio that defies every principle of sustainable economics. Monthly mortgage payments routinely exceed $4,200, which means you're spending 67% of your gross income just on housing. That's not home ownership, that's indentured servitude. But it gets worse. LA is hemorrhaging residents faster than a punctured balloon. Over 32,000 people have fled since 2023, and they're not coming back. The exodus includes the high earners who were supporting these insane property values. When the buyer pool evaporates, guess what happens to prices? Insurance premiums have doubled due to wildfire risks, adding another $400 to $600 monthly to your housing costs. Crime rates are exploding, making entire neighborhoods uninhabitable. Even formerly desirable areas like Echo Park and West Hollywood are seeing massive price cuts. Over 23% of listings dropped prices in Q1 alone. Los Angeles looks glamorous in movies, but in reality, it's a financial graveyard for home buyers. Number 9. Oakland. Oakland promised to be the affordable alternative to San Francisco. In 2025, it's become the dangerous alternative to financial stability. This city represents everything wrong with California housing. Overpriced, crime-ridden, and economically unsustainable. Median home prices hover above $720,000, while incomes barely cross $80,000. That's a 9-to-1 ratio that guarantees financial stress for any buyer brave enough or foolish enough to purchase here. Over 30% of listings have already slashed their prices in 2025, with homes sitting unsold for 60-plus days. When sellers are panic-cutting prices this early in the year, you know the market is collapsing. Here's the real killer. Oakland now ranks among the top 5 U.S. cities for property crime. Carjackings, break-ins, and assaults are driving residents and investors to flee en masse. Over 12,000 people have left since 2023, taking their purchasing power with them. Insurance premiums are climbing 45% compared to 3 years ago, especially in hillside areas prone to wildfire. You're not just buying an overpriced house, you're buying into a war zone with escalating protection costs. Oakland's housing market isn't just unstable, it's radioactive. Number 8. Stockton. Stockton, the poster child for what happens when speculation meets economic reality. This Central Valley city is experiencing a housing market meltdown that should terrify anyone considering a purchase here. The median home price sits around $480,000, lower than coastal markets, but catastrophically high for local economic fundamentals. The average income is just $66,000, creating a 7-to-1 price ratio that's absolutely unsustainable. This isn't California dreaming, this is economic math that doesn't work. The market is already cracking under pressure. Over 28% of listings dropped prices last quarter, and homes are sitting unsold for 50-plus days on average. Foreclosure filings are surging 17% year over year as adjustable-rate mortgages reset and household budgets snap under inflation pressure. Crime remains a cancer, eating away at property values. Stockton ranks among the worst cities for violent crime per capita, creating an environment where property values have nowhere to go but down. Meanwhile, new construction continues flooding the market despite collapsing demand. Stockton's housing bubble is stretched thinner than plastic wrap, and it's about to pop. Number 7. San Diego. San Diego markets itself as America's finest city, but in 2025, it's become America's most financially punishing housing market. This coastal paradise has transformed into a buyer's nightmare wrapped in perfect weather. Median home prices have exploded past $850,000, while household incomes linger around $82,000. That forces families to spend over 40% of their gross income just on housing costs before taxes, insurance, or maintenance. This isn't sustainable home ownership, it's a recipe for financial destruction. Insurance costs are absolutely decimating buyer budgets. Premiums have skyrocketed over 50% since 2020 due to wildfire risks, coastal erosion, and rising sea levels. Many insurers are pulling out entirely, leaving homeowners scrambling for coverage that costs thousands annually for basic protection. The inventory explosion tells the real story. Luxury condo markets and suburban developments are drowning in unsold properties. Nearly 24% of listings saw price reductions in Q1 2025. That's not a correction, that's a collapse in progress. Property taxes rank among California's highest, traffic congestion is crushing quality of life, and population growth has stalled. San Diego still looks like paradise, but buying here in 2025 means paying paradise prices for purgatory economics. Number 6. Burbank. Burbank, Hollywood's golden suburb, has become fool's gold for homebuyers. What was once a creative haven has transformed into a financial execution chamber for middle-class families. The median home price is approaching $1 million, while household incomes hover under $90,000. That's an 11-to-1 ratio that's mathematically impossible for sustainable home ownership. With interest rates near 7%, even dual-income families are being priced out of basic single-family homes. Monthly housing costs routinely exceed $4,500. And that's not for a mansion, that's for a basic house. Property taxes rank among the highest in Los Angeles County, while insurance premiums surge due to wildfire threats from surrounding hills. You're looking at $5,000 plus monthly just to keep a roof over your head. The market fundamentals are collapsing. Homes that once sold in days now sit for 60-plus days. Bidding wars have vanished, replaced by desperate price cuts of 10% or more. Corporate layoffs from nearby entertainment and tech hubs are eliminating the high-income buyers who supported these prices. Burbank looks beautiful in postcards, but behind the scenes, it's flashing red warning lights for financial disaster. Number 5. Santa Cruz. Santa Cruz, the surfer's paradise that's become a buyer's hell. This coastal community represents the absolute worst of California housing economics. Catastrophic prices supported by nothing but speculation and delusion. The median home price has reached $1.22 million, while household incomes barely exceed $85,000. That's a 14-to-1 ratio that makes Santa Cruz one of America's most unaffordable markets. Buyers are forced to spend over 50% of their gross income just on housing, if they can even get insurance. Climate risks are creating an insurance nightmare. Santa Cruz faces flooding from coastal zones, rising sea levels, and wildfire threats from surrounding hills. Insurance premiums have exploded 40% since 2022, with many properties requiring special fire coverage just to qualify for basic policies. The market is cooling faster than a Santa Cruz morning fog. Over 25% of listings saw price cuts in Q1 2025, and average days on market have doubled since 2023. Investor interest has evaporated, and younger families are fleeing inland, where housing costs won't destroy their financial future. Santa Cruz will always attract dreamers, but in 2025, buying here means shouldering catastrophic financial risk for a lifestyle you probably can't afford to maintain. Number 4. Santa Barbara. Santa Barbara, the coastal jewel that's become a financial curse. This Mediterranean fantasy comes with a price tag that's destroying the dreams of anyone foolish enough to pursue home ownership here. Home prices have ballooned to nearly $1.5 million, while local incomes average just $90,000. That's a 17-to-1 ratio that represents financial insanity masquerading as real estate investment. This gap doesn't just lock out middle-class families, it's pricing out even affluent buyers who understand basic math. The cracks are spreading faster than earthquake damage. Listing times are up 60% year over year, and nearly 30% of properties slashed asking prices in Q1 2025. When even wealthy buyers start walking away, you know the fundamentals are completely broken. Climate risks are turning insurance into a luxury item. Wildfire threats, mudslide risks, and drought conditions have pushed insurance premiums over $5,000 annually, with some hillside properties being outright denied coverage. Santa Barbara is hemorrhaging its workforce. Over 8,000 residents fled between 2022 and 2024, mostly service workers and renters priced out by relentless cost increases. Santa Barbara looks like paradise in travel brochures, but for buyers in 2025, it's paradise lost with a price tag that guarantees financial suffering. Number 3. Palm Springs. Palm Springs, the desert oasis that's become a financial mirage. This former Hollywood playground has transformed into a buyer's nightmare where the heat isn't just in the air, it's in the catastrophic housing economics. Median home prices sit around $675,000, while household incomes struggle past $70,000. That's nearly a 10-to-1 ratio, but the real killer isn't the price. It's the operating costs that will bankrupt you after purchase. Palm Springs endured over 60 days above 110 degrees Fahrenheit last year, sending utility costs into the stratosphere as AC units run continuously. Drought restrictions are tightening, water bills are exploding, and wildfire risks are surging across the Coachella Valley. Insurance premiums have jumped nearly 50% in 3 years, with many neighborhoods classified as high-risk zones. The market is oversaturated with desperate sellers. Overbuilding combined with investor panic has created a listing glut. In the first quarter of 2025, 31% of homes had price cuts, and average market time has soared past 50 days. When a resort market can't sell properties in peak season, you know the economics are fundamentally broken. Palm Springs might still attract tourists, but for buyers, the heat is on, and not in a good way. Number 2, Mendocino. Mendocino, where scenic beauty meets economic brutality. This coastal community represents the ultimate California housing trap. Stunning location, catastrophic economics, and risks that should terrify any potential buyer. Home prices average over $650,000, while median income sits at just $60,000. That's an 11-to-1 ratio that immediately prices out local residents, but the isolation factor makes this market even more dangerous. Access to healthcare, reliable broadband, and quality schools remains severely limited. Roads are crumbling, power outages are common, and you're essentially buying into a beautiful prison. Climate risks are turning homeownership into a survival exercise. Wildfires have become annual threats. Insurance costs have soared over $4,700 annually for modest properties, and some carriers are pulling out entirely. You're not just buying an overpriced house, you're buying into a disaster zone with escalating protection costs. Market conditions are deteriorating rapidly. This spring, 35% of homes in Mendocino had price drops, the highest rate in Northern California. Even remote professionals who fled here during the pandemic are retreating, citing costs, risks, and isolation. Mendocino is beautiful, but in 2025, owning here feels more like managing a survival outpost than enjoying a dream home. Number 1, San Francisco. San Francisco takes the top spot because it represents the complete collapse of California housing logic. The former innovation capital has become the graveyard of real estate dreams, where buying property means accepting financial suicide wrapped in tech industry prestige. The median home price still hovers around $1.35 million, but here's what's changed. The demand has evaporated. Tech layoffs, permanent work-from-home policies, and mass exodus have hollowed out the buyer pool that supported these insane valuations. Over 50,000 people have fled since 2021, including the high earners who were the only ones capable of affording these prices. In the first quarter of 2025, nearly 1 in 3 homes on the market had price cuts. When even San Francisco real estate requires massive discounts to attract buyers, you know the entire California market is collapsing. Property crime remains rampant, public transit is underfunded, HOA fees exceed $1,800 monthly, and insurance premiums top $6,000 annually for many homeowners. The luxury market is completely unraveling. Developers are canceling projects, and multi-million-dollar homes sit empty for months. San Francisco still carries prestige, but in 2025, buying here means accepting crushing costs, escalating risks, and deep uncertainty about future values. These 10 California cities represent ground zero for the housing market apocalypse that's coming to the Golden State. When markets this overvalued start showing cracks, the collapse happens faster than most people realize. Price-to-income ratios that defy economic logic, insurance costs that double housing expenses, crime rates that destroy neighborhoods, and climate risks that make entire areas uninsurable. California's housing market isn't just expensive. It's economically unsustainable and headed for a reckoning that will destroy the wealth of anyone caught holding overpriced properties when reality hits. The California dream has become the California nightmare. Don't let beautiful weather and lifestyle marketing blind you to the brutal economic reality of buying real estate in these markets. Want to avoid the hype and protect your financial future? Subscribe to Housing Truths USA. We tell you the truth about housing markets, not the sales pitch that will bankrupt you. The housing bubble is bursting. Make sure you're not underneath when it falls.